Philippines is among the fast-growing economies in Asia. It's a possibility, however, that pursuing this growth path may mean giving up proper urban planning and efforts to channel these gains to the masses. The government is making sure this will not happen outside Metro Manila as it carries out new developments in Central Luzon. In particular, the mixed-use developments inside Clark Freeport and Special Economic Zone that straddles Pampanga and Tarlac provinces. Clark's strategic location and connectivity infrastructure makes it a viable, if not better, alternative to Metro Manila's traffic congestion. And this is expected to happen in the new Clark City, a new economic center north of the capital.
New Clark City is part of the Clark Special Economic Zone. It's approximately 32,000 hectares. To put that in perspective, that's about half of Metro Manila. And New Clark City is the next frontier of development in this area. It is envisioned to be the first green, smart, and completely resilient city in the country.
The new Clark City will eventually become the center of governance through the planned National Government Administrative Center.
You cannot just develop a large tract of land just like that. You have to have something that would catalyze. I want to call this the Queen Bee, where the Queen Bee is, which is the government, the soldiers of the bees will follow, and that's the private sector. Based on our rough estimation, 2 million person trips a day will be out of the system in Metro Manila if only, government only, will transfer there.
The new Clark City will be at par with international standards, while at the same time providing the venue to present our roots as Filipinos through its architecture and design.
We want this city to be luxurious in terms of design. Part of the entire requirement that we believe organic to this city is the philosophy of the Bahay Kubo. Right now, we are just modernizing that same approach. And these are the architecture of the SEA Games, the architecture of the government buildings, the architecture of the houses for the athletes and the government employees.
The National Government Administrative Center will be developed as one of the most resilient infrastructure in the new Clark City.
The type of green that they're putting in the ground, that's very important. We're looking at a master plan that really considered the site where it is. The river is a very good example. So preserving the river, looking at leaving the easements open to offer that recreational space, that leisure space, the environmental protection, and at the same time increasing property values near that area. They're able to build better from the start. So you see things like very wide roadways that have protected bike lanes, that have very wide sidewalks, and not just in one area, but a whole network connecting all of the places around the development.
The good thing is we will have offices, residential, schools, sports facilities, parks, beautiful nature that will be kept, a certain ratio of openness. You don't feel that you are sandwiched by two buildings.
60% of the development will be reserved for green spaces and 40% will be developed. Second is they can expect that the transportation is going to be world-class. It's going to be integrated and interconnected.
Building businesses is at the core of Clark's economic growth. It continues to face the challenge of diversifying development outside Metro Manila. Clark Global City, a new development within the Clark Freeport Zone in Pampanga, promises to be the new business hub.
Our biggest challenge is to plan the development so that it addresses the needs of today and of the future. What we wanted is a development that is comparable with the best cities in the world. There are 5 key drivers that we identified. One of the drivers is it has to be transport-oriented. Second is that it has to be iconic with place branding. In the end, the development has to be memorable. It has to be mixed use. We want to offer diversity of uses. It has to be a place where people can live, can work, can socialize. Development, we have open spaces, we have activity areas, sports complex, all these spaces that people need for them to enjoy life in the community. There has to be different offerings here. And last is, in the end, this is a place where people have to live in. It has to be a place that inspires people to develop a community.
The design of Clark Global City is quite ambitious, and this is paying off as it slowly but surely is attracting investors because of its unique features.
So the 10 years really is a quite ambitious plan to build a city of this size. So to put it in perspective, this is a 177 hectare development, mixed use. We call it an aerotropolis, but what it is a city that's using the planning and the lessons that have been learned over the last 10, 20 years in city development to try to make it more forward-thinking. Our first phase was, of course, building a hospital and building some commercial and retail, which is what we're sitting in today. This is part of a retail complex that spans across the first and second floor. Kind of if you think about how Hong Kong is connected, office, retail, mixed-use space, that's very similar to the design here.
Clark Global City primarily offers solutions to Metro Manila's congestion. It makes sure that each development is well planned and sustainable. With local and international businesses at the forefront, Clark Global City is envisioned to become a new center for economic development along with other projects in the Clark Freeport and Special Economic Zones.
Well, if you look at Clark in itself, it's a free port. Being a free port, it offers a lot of advantages. It is very close to major means of transport. You have the airport, you have the SETEX and the rail. And not very far from Clark is the Subic Freeport.
It's also central in the country, which makes it very strategic for employees. So international companies that really are locating in the Philippines because of the quality of talent. This is one of the easiest places to grow your business in terms of quality of talent. And then the third is it is incredibly resilient to natural disasters, which makes your risk of loss of productivity very low. We consider ourselves like the BGC of the North. The big key difference, I would say, is sustainability and connectivity. So our transportation solutions, you can go right now, every 15 minutes there's a free bus service, Clark Global City Bus throughout our city. It's connected by train, it's connected by highway. You can fly and be on site in 10 minutes. This is one of the fastest growing airports in the entire world. It's grown by 60 or 70% per year. Those are features that you won't get in BGC and you won't get in other regional cities.
This is less dense. We are not going to create densities as high as Makati CBD. Second, we have more open spaces.
There is almost no solution to the growing congestion of Metro Manila. You have to move outside Metro Manila. One of the best ways to do that is have economic centers that provide high quality jobs that are outside Metro Manila. So this is part of the solution of why this is huge.
Filipinos in major cities and urban centers constantly struggle with heavy traffic, and our airports are no exception. Traffic congestion in and around the Ninoy Aquino International Airport is getting worse even as more air travelers come and go through the country's main gateway. In contrast, wide interconnected highways make it easy for travelers to reach Clark International Airport in Pampanga.
The Clark International Airport area is very sustainable in terms of development. We can sustain this maybe a few more generations because just the Clark International Airport area is already 4 times that of Naya. We can accommodate 3 runways. Actually, so the first phase is this one. The second phase is 22 million passengers with new terminals. The third phase is 45 million with the second runway. And the fourth phase is 80 million with the third runway.
Clark Airport began as a modest facility serving a few dozen flights a week to limited destinations. Today, the airport is the gateway to a number of local and international destinations serving millions of passengers.
It will be a true game changer, considering that, as everyone knows, Naya is bursting at its seams. It's very full. Over na po siya ng 10 million passengers a year. And we can absorb the overflow passengers. And not only absorb them, we can take more just to alleviate everything. Alleviate traffic, alleviate the passengers. More importantly, it will provide economic gains in the area.
With a rising number of passengers, the airport braces for new developments to meet growth expectations.
We're looking at 12 million passengers by 2020. If we move 12 million passengers, if it's one car a passenger, that's 12 million cars off EDSA.
PNR North Tutuban Station.
There's also a Clark Malolos, a Clark Tutuban Railway, which will be provided for the passengers and others. The railway is under construction. It's a DOTR project actually. It's not part of the airport project, but it will complement the airport project since it will pass through the airport.
Airport officials are confident they can address the demands of more passengers with the completion of a new airport by 2022.
There's a new terminal already under construction. It's 25% complete. That will accommodate around 10 million passengers. It's around 100,000 square meters. It's planned to have the state-of-the-art acceptance of passengers, baggage bag drops, automated immigration. All the new stuff should be there.
Aside from establishing itself as a base for international flights, the airport is also well positioned to become the next hub for domestic flights.
The strategy of Clark since maybe last year or 2 years ago was to build up domestic. Like for example, 2016 we had one destination, 6 flights a week. We're now at 300 flights a week, 21 destinations and growing.
For frequent travelers from nearby provinces, Clark Airport brings convenience in many ways.
Taga-Bataan ako, pero may bahay kami sa Davao. Mas okay kasi pag sumasakay kami dito sa Clark papuntang Davao. At saka mas okay yung mga nagtatrabaho rito, mababait, tapos malinis, yun ang pinaka-the best dito. Kasi sa naiya traffic, di ba, sa Manila. Pero sa Clark, manggagaling kaming Bataan, mag-text lang kami, tapos 30 minutes nandito ka na sa Clark.
Ang strategy po doon is the domestic flights and destinations are the base. So when the base is there, the international and regional flights will come para connectivity po. You don't have to go to Manila for your connection.
With the operation of the new Clark City and Clark Global City, the international airport would serve travelers who want to experience and enjoy these developments.
You take into consideration the new Clark City and everything. Parang nasabayan rin po namin yun eh. At the same time, swerte rin po kami, nasabayan namin yung congestion of Naya. And of course, government support, they're very supportive this time.
As it serves more passengers and helps decongest NAIA, Clark International Airport is no doubt a game changer.